Welcome to my presentation. Robert Cowley, student number 15085864. My anecdote. In my history lessons at GCSE, my classmates as well as I struggled remembering important figures from World War I that would be needed for exam at the end of the year. In order to help us remember these figures, the teacher would ask us questions before being let into the classroom. If we answered correctly, we were rewarded by being let into a nice warm classroom. Considering it was a demountable, no one wanted to be standing outside in the cold or rain for long. He would do the same at the end of the lesson. If an individual answered correctly, they could leave first, meaning they get a longer lunch break. This made me revise at home and helped me to learn figures, but not because I was necessarily interested in the subject, but because I could be let out to lunch earlier. I remember one of those questions he asked me. How many soldiers were Germany reduced to after the Treaty of Versailles? I answered correctly with 100,000 and became the first to be let out to lunch, which was extremely rewarding. I began to get more intelligent within the subject and eventually gained an A in my end of year exam. My anecdote includes some behaviorist ideology. Behaviorism is a theory that behavior can be explained in terms of conditioning and without the need to consider internal mental states or consciousness. One of the conditioning theories is operant conditioning. This was developed by Skinner, which attempts to modify behavior through the use of positive and negative reinforcement. Positive reinforcement is the outcomes given to an individual after the desired behavior. This may come in the form of reward. Positive reinforcement is seen in my anecdote. With my success in answering the question correctly, I was rewarded by being let out to lunch early. This is a form of positive reinforcement. The effect of positive reinforcement meant I continued to revise key figures outside of school time, and therefore helped me to achieve a high grade in my end of year exam. It was pretty clear my teacher believed in qualification. Qualification's main principles is providing learners with necessary important knowledge, skills, and understanding in order to be successful in a certain task. In this case, he provided us with the knowledge of accurate figures, in which was important to be successful in the end of year exam. He did this by asking exam questions to certain individuals throughout his lessons, and those who got the answer correct were often positively reinforced. I believe my teacher was more interested and concerned with wanting his students to succeed in the exam, instead of learning the broader sense of the subject. He constantly gave us materials which we would only need for the exam, and therefore hints at possessing strong qualification qualities, and lacks more of the socialization qualities. My learning was quite often active during this lesson, due to the fact I was always engaged. I was mainly engaged within the lesson because my teacher would often ask me questions, meaning I had to be alert and be able to think fast in order to respond with an answer. The use of active learning was fairly effective in the lesson, but not particularly liked by myself or that of other students. My teacher could have used other methods of active learning which may have been preferred. One example is the use of revision cards. Pairing up with a partner and testing each other is more fun and enjoyable than having the pressure to answer correctly in front of your teacher or as well as your class. This leads me on to my next point. Behaviorism and constructivism tend to be viewed as opposite theories. My teacher mainly possessed behaviorist qualities in his lessons, with the use of operant conditioning and the controlling of behavior and learning of his students. However, this links to Vygotsky's approach of constructivism. Vygotsky believed in the social context of learning and had the teacher playing an important role in learning.
He referred to his work as social constructivism and believed success in learning is achieved through interaction with a more knowledgeable other. Constructivists believe that children develop knowledge through active participation and therefore creates a more fun and enjoyable experience. However, my teacher limited my experience as a learner because he directly involved himself in my learning instead of helping me develop and experience my own ideas within the subject. Rummel expressed how the primary role of the teacher should be to motivate the children to create their own knowledge through personal experience. I believe this is an important quality needed in education. My teacher could still achieve qualification through the use of social cultural learning. It has been proven that if a student enjoys the subject, he is more likely to achieve higher in it. I believe collaboration, interaction, and group class discussions make a lesson more enjoyable and definitely less tedious than direct teaching from the teacher. Direct teaching is what I experienced in my lesson. He could have changed this by using maybe revision cards, pair up with partners and test each other, therefore it's fun and feels less pressure to answer the question correctly in front of the class as well as the teacher. Exam questions are still being asked, so we can still achieve qualification. It's just done in a more enjoyable way. This could have changed my view on the subject and began to enjoy the subject for what it is and not only wanting to learn just because I could get out of class earlier. As a learner, I believe I benefit more from socialization and active learning than direct teaching just from a teacher, so this is something my teacher lacked within his lessons. When analysing my anecdote, it became clear to me that different teaching methods may benefit different people. In my case, my teacher used a behaviourist approach, and it did work in terms of qualification, as I came out with an A at the end of the year. However, it didn't necessarily make me enjoy the subject. Now, this could be due to positive reinforcement. How effective is positive reinforcement? Yes, it built my confidence within the subject and did make me revise at home, but not because I was necessarily interested in the subject, but because I could gain a reward. Positive reinforcement can have negatives. I could have become dependent on the rewards and lost motivation once they were taken away. Positive reinforcement could have decreased my intrinsic motivation. So, if I had actually took interest in the subject, would it have been a different matter? Well, I believe so. If my teacher had taken a more constructivist approach, I believe I would have enjoyed the lessons as well as the subject more. Take Vygotsky's approach. He used social constructivism. So just say I was in a group or in partners or in a class discussion, I believe these lessons would have been more enjoyable, but can still contain the same qualification goal as my teacher wanted at the start of the lesson. In Peter Boghossian's journal on behaviorism, constructivism, and Socratic pedagogy, he explains how constructivists believe learners should construct or find meaning in their subjective experiences, and this result becomes knowledge. I believe having my own viewpoint on my history lesson would have been beneficial in my learning experience.